Hello, it's Mastering here, and I'm just going to get straight into talking about the set. So here is the set I'm using. I'm using HP and Magical Defense because this Doodle has like a similar stat spread to Breezeshy, because like it has 65 HP. I'm pretty sure Breezeshy has like 55, and then it has 100 physical defense just like Breezeshy, and it also has 95 magical defense, but Breezeshy has like 100. And we're using magical defense because it's good to always boost your lower defense stat when you're using a defensive Doodle. And we're using HP just to boost our HP because our HP is pretty bad. And we're using the ability Unbreakable, which makes you take 25% less damage from super effective attacks, which works pretty well given that this thing has a pretty bad type combo, being Food Plant, which is the same as Applicious. And Applicious wasn't that great because its type wasn't that good, and also it's quite gimmicky. So now for the moves, we're using Feast just to heal up, so like when we're low we can just heal up 50% of our max HP. And we're also using Commanding Blow, which is a really powerful move. It's 60 base power beast type move that moves last, and it's 90% accurate, but it switches out the target when you use the move. And this is especially useful for sending out things that are sweeping your team. You can bring out whatever you call this thing, and you can make them switch out and lose all their stat boost. And we're also using the move Entangling Vines, which is a hazard that lowers the user's speed by 2 times, I think, when they're swapped in, which could be pretty good on teams that like Vine users. Like, for example, Manti Scold, Dayfernal Awakened, and yeah. And we're also using this new move called Sugar Crash. And what Sugar Crash does is that it's 120 base power food type move with 90% accuracy, and it lowers the user's speed whenever it uses it, which isn't that bad of a downside given that this Doodle only has like 35 base speed, so you're not going to really be outspeeding anything. Maybe you're on the urge of outspeeding a Cerebral Pod. That's like the only thing I see you trying to outspeed. I don't know Cerebral Pod speed stat by the top of my head. So I'm using the equipments of Feather Hat, Ornate Necklace, and Pure Tear. And what these equipments do is basically boost my melee attack by a bit, but it boosts up my HP a good amount, and also it like gives me a little bit of defense and magical defense, I think. And we're using the item Dark Chocolate, which is basically Black Sludge from Pokemon but for the food type. And what Black Sludge did was basically for all Pokemon that wasn't poison type, they would take damage at the end of each turn. But if you were poison type, you would heal at the end of each turn. So like that basically works for the food type. So you're going to heal at the end of each turn. And basically the reason you use this over crayons is so like you won't have, what do you call that, item clause with like another crayons user on your team. And also this thing has like 115 physical attack. That's why I didn't run Max Bolt. The physical attack was amazing. If it didn't have that physical attack, I probably would have used Max Defenses with Compost over Sugar Crash. And now enough, y'all. We're just gonna get straight into the battles.